Do you think I might be eating too little to lose weight? Is again a question I've been asked recently and many times over the years, or versions of it. Maybe I need to eat more to kickstart my metabolism, or someone's told me that I'm eating too little, I'm going into starvation mode, and my body's desperately holding on to fat. And as always with these videos and anything I put out there, what I'll endeavour to do is give you not my opinion, but what I understand to be the consensus of opinion, what the studies show. And the studies in this case show a few things. Firstly, it is true that when we are in sustained periods of very low energy consumption, then obviously we are less active, we use less energy just because we're not feeling so good, but also our body does down-regulate certain internal processes somewhat to try and conserve energy, and therefore our metabolism does lower, but those numbers are relatively small. They're in the magnitude of dozens, maybe 100 calories per day, and that again is at those extremes. It doesn't mean when we've dropped down to in the teens of 12, 1500, 2000 calories a day for a number of weeks isn't going to do it. It's when we're practically starving to death that kicks in, and again the numbers aren't massive. It doesn't mean magically that energy in versus energy out is no longer a thing. It just means our body is doing what it can to use as little energy as possible because there's not enough coming in and it's concern for our life. And I don't think anyone that's ever asked me that question has got to the point where their energy consumption is potentially life-threatening. Doesn't mean it isn't in some cases. It isn't going to be for any of us realistically. As I mentioned before though, what can happen as we reduce our calorie intake is we are less active. So we're just not feeling as energetic, we're not feeling as good, we don't have the energy to go and exercise, we're less likely to take the stairs, to walk the dog quite as far, or leave the car and walk to work. Again, doesn't magically mean that our body is desperately clinging on to fat, it just means we're being less active. So for some people, it might be that upping their calories a little bit means they're more active and therefore they use more energy and are therefore essentially down on the deal, that overall they're in more of a deficit because they've eaten marginally more. But again, we're talking relatively marginal things, and that's only if it makes that difference. It doesn't mean that adding an extra 300, 400, 500 calories onto our daily intake will mean that we use more energy magically. It just might make us make better choices around activity levels. So in short, chances are we're not eating too little to lose weight, and ultimately there is no too little to lose weight. If someone is in starvation mode, they will still starve. If they're still eating in a massive deficit, that's got to come from somewhere. Even if the body's down regulating certain internal processes, which it won't be for us, that body fat's still going to go. It doesn't. People don't starve to death whilst maintaining high levels of body fat. So in short, if you think eating a touch more might make you adhere to it longer, because that's often the difference maker. If we can adhere to 1800 calories for the rest of our life, that's way better than doing 1000 calories and stopping after a week. That's a massive win. If it enables us to make better choices around exercise and activity levels, that's a massive win. But don't let anyone tell you that eating too little magically stops the energy in versus energy out equation happening and that automatically eating more would help that.